Okay, so this is the this is Thomson Reuters Icon. What you see here is a search bar here that you can search for the companies that you want, or for the bond, or whatever asset here. So you can, yeah, here search, for example, for Apple, and then you go to the company company page. I don't know why my connection is. Yeah. So this is the company overview in the first page. So you will find all the necessary information that you need to just get from a company by just one look. So here there is a business summary. What does this company do? Here the latest news regarding this, and there are the next upcoming events of the company. And here down there you can also see the recent developments, like the filings, or mainly findings. Here you can take a look at the price performance. So, for example, the last 3 months, 6 months, or year to date. And here is the latest price relevant for the Apple. This is here the volume weighted average price, and yeah, the yield of the yield today for Apple, the beta here. So for your valuation, you need the beta, and you don't need to calculate it yourself. You can use it like this, but so you don't need to calculate the beta or download everything. So you can just find the beta that you want to use from the database. And yeah, and there are also a summary of everything that are available in Icon. But for each of these items, you can go to these tabs and find more details. For example, for the news. So if you look at the news tab, so this is the latest news regarding Apple, and yeah, so and here are the most read news. So they're the hot topics regarding the company, and so for each of them you can open them in a pop-up. And I don't know why my connection is so slow today. Yeah, like this. And you can always save them as a PDF here, with a print. Okay, so this is the news. There's also a social media monitor for the company. So if you click this, you'll see the latest tweets, and like what is the sentiment of the tweets about the company, and so on. Yeah. So this is the latest tweets for the Apple, and this is the sentiment of the tweets as a daily basis. So you can change the charts. Yeah. You can see that here, for example, for Apple and Microsoft, it was positive. The sentiment for HP, I don't know what it is. Yeah, they are more negative for the sentiment. So here, yeah, there's also a company research part, which we don't have the access to it. So as far as I see, the university doesn't have the access to this. So we cannot find a specific research of the banks, for example, or broker research for the Apple or any other company. So I think it's, oh, okay. So we have something from the Refinitiv itself. Yeah. But for most of the companies, you don't have anything here if you go. Yeah. By the way, in the first overview page, you can always take a summary of the company as a PDF, as a fact sheet here. So if you say fact sheet, you have three options here for the theme of the report. So the orange, blue, and red. So if you click on them, you will see the overview summary of the company. Yeah, this is basically everything that was already into the overview page. Okay, so there was a question about the price. So there is here you can see the price history of the company, and you have the option for several intervals. So you can have from 1 minute to 5 minutes, 30 minutes, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly. And you can have the data for the period you want. But if you select these minute things, you don't have the historical price. You have just the latest 3 months. So for 1 minute, I guess, yeah, here you say that it's limited to just the last 3 months. But if what is important for you, for example, for the beta, people usually use the daily or weekly weekly price of the last 2 years, and then you can have your currency. And if you want to download them, here there's always an Excel download to Excel, and you can save it here. There is also, so you can also see them as a chart here, or you can also see just the statistics of this. So for example, what is the mean, max, the average, and so on. Also, what is here important and can be interesting for you is the volume weighted average price. So this volume weighted average price is important because, for example, in Germany, if you want to have a takeover bid, it should be bigger than the last 3 months VWAP. So this is important. So you cannot provide a bid for the takeover lower than this number for the last 3 months. So here you can set for what time period you want this. So for example, from February, if I want to have the last 3 months. This will be the volume weighted average price. So you can also have beautiful charts here. Yeah, there is already 3 companies that you can compare them, but yeah, so here you can add, for example, another company, for example, HP. And you can change it to monthly, for example, or whatever. And yeah. Okay. So next part is about the estimates. So the nice thing about Eikon is that it has the data of IBES, which is the biggest provider of the estimates for companies. So here you can have all the information that you want. So for example, you can say that I want just the balance sheet data, and I get the mean or the median, or you can select one single contributor. For example, here I can select the Atlantic equities, and yeah, look at the forecasts. Or you can also have like the mean of all the forecasts, and you can have just annual view. You can change it here. So if you want to have for more than 3 years. So here for forward years, you can increase the forward to 5 years, for example, and you will have a 5-year forecast of the analyst for all the specific items here. Yeah. Great. Okay, so from time to time, you see that, for example, for the guidance, there is a transcript available for you. So if you click on this, you will see what would be the management guidance about the next earning results. So if you open this, for example, you can say that for the measure of revenue, there was a guidance for this time period for September 20. And it was coming from the second quarter earning conference call. And there it was Tim Cook, the CEO, was talking about, for example, what was the effect of COVID-19 on the revenue, and the other directors as well. So from time to time, you can see this earning guidance here, and yeah. But you can also look at this guidance with more details here into this section. Yeah. So wherever you want to download anything, there is always something here for Excel or PDF. So you can always, what you see here, you can always download them here. But yeah, I will show you, there are several ways you can download the balance sheet data and the financial statements. So what is then next important for us here is the detailed estimates. So for example, if you want to see the detailed estimates of the revenue, here you can select your measure, and so it can be revenue, EBITDA, everything. So, but so the most important thing for your valuation is revenue, and you can say that okay. So you can see by sector, for example, if you just want to have for the Mac section or for the iPad part or whatever, and so what is the periodicity, and then if you update here, you can see that so this is here the average average of all the forecasts for the September 20. The median, so the high, I don't know what is the high, but you can always look at this I. And here it would be explained the highest broker estimate. So this is the maximum, and also the minimum probably, and this is the standard deviation of the forecast. But if you are interested into the much more details, you can select, so you can see all the analysts here. And so from this broker, you can see this analyst, and this is the earning accuracy. So there are like 5-star analysts that they are the most accurate ones historically about the prediction of the Apple's earning per share or revenue, for example, and then you can see what they exactly said for the next quarters. And there are many of them undisclosed because I think from 2018 onward, analysts have the option to say to tell the icon that they want to be undisclosed. So there are many of them undisclosed, but as you see, you can always just focus on the top analyst, or you can look at the mean or median of all of them. So it's up to you. Yeah. And as I said, you can always say for how many periods you want to have. You can okay. So there's also something smart estimate. They never understood what is it. But this is something that some kind of weighting that Icon provides based on this analyst quality. So we take just some analyst, high quality analysts, and then get the mean of them and provide it with some other metrics of their own. And then they provided a smart estimate. So these are all important things about the detailed estimates.
To what extent can we use these estimates? Just like a guide, or we can insert them in our discounted cash flow?
It's up to you. So if you have like very nice analysts that they are always right about the forecast, so you can always use their forecast for example, revenue. So you can project your revenue based on some historical percent, so historical growth rate, or you can use the analyst, so this data. So it's up to you at the end. If you believe that these analysts are better than the historical growth, so you can use them. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. There is also an interesting thing here. So for a specific company, you can say the buy side. So there's something called BOV, so buy side optimized view. So you can see what is the brokerage relationships of Apple. So here, so because all of these analysts are somehow working for some brokerage, and then so you can see that all of these analysts, they're working for a brokerage, and if you want to see if they are probably somehow biased, you can look at this brokerage relationship of Apple. So this is for today. It was like half of the sales are coming from this broker, and you can see the ranks of brokers for today or like the last 20 days, and then you can see what's the brokerage relationships of the Apple here. Okay, so going back. So the next tab is the financials. There are two financials. So for both of them, you can see the financial summary, income statement, balance sheet, cash flow. And there is a very small difference between Refinitiv version and Reuters version. So if you want to see what is the difference, here in the Refinitiv part, there is this RCF landing page. And let's show the desktop. Okay, here. So you can see that so that this is the full statement comparison examples. So if you save it here, I hope you can see this Excel file here. And then you can see what is the difference between these two. So so there is this Refinitiv value and the Thomson Reuters. So what's their differences, and so everything. So all the details of income statement, balance sheet, and the cash flow. So you can compare them here. But for now, we can start with the Refinitiv version. So there is a financial summary here. Okay, then, yeah. So this is a summary of all the important metrics. And in specific, you can have, for example, income statement. So what's so here you can see, so you can have it as reported, or you can change the currency to euro or whatever. You can have the scales of millions or billions. You can just tell it for how many last periods you want to have, and the other things I'm not sure. Okay, and so what is important here is okay. For example, you have revenues here, and you want to see where is this number come from. So if you click on this blue link, you can see if there's a formula. So there's no formula here. So this is just the sales of goods and services net. And if you click on this, then the P&L statement of Apple will open, and it would be highlighted the part that they got this number from. So this is the annual report of the Apple, and here is this is the place that they got this number. So it was in the consolidated statement of the operations, I think page 39 of the annual report. And for all of them, you can do the same. So here, for example, for the operating profits, do the same. So you can see that how they calculate that. They say that this is the sum of gross profits and minus the SG and selling general and administrative expenses. So for each of them, you can just open the financial statement and look at where they got this number from. Okay. So next, yeah, for any of them that you don't know what does this mean, you can always open this question mark and see what does this mean. Yeah. Okay. And if you want to download this data, you can again use this Excel button here and download the data. So here, so there is one section for valuation that here shows you the valuation breach. Okay, no, it wasn't here. So. No, it wasn't here. Okay, no, it's so. The other parts are clear, so you can have the same things with for the balance sheet, statement of cash flow, and so on. And what is important here? So you can have basically everything else here with the Reuters. So I think at the end they are very similar. So it depends how you prepare your Excel file for the valuation. Yeah. So this is if you want the income statement from Reuters. Yeah, this is. So again, you can click on this and find where does this number come from. Okay, it takes time. Okay, the next tab is about the governance. So there is something that you don't need it for this course, but just for your information. This is about the ESG. So you can see how does this company perform environmentally or socially, social friendly, or how does this governance of the company looks like. Okay, so here you can see the, for example, environmental metrics of the company. So resource reduction policy. So you can just click on each of these links and see the source of this data. But what is more important is the corporate governance. And probably if you want to see at the defense of the company, here you can see a list of the defense measures that the company has for the takeovers. And here, for example, you can see that for example, they have so they don't have any golden parachute, but they have, for example, yeah, unlimited authorized capital to or blank check. So if you just click on this, you will see the source of this information again. Here are the, so this is the information that is coming from this part. So this is one of the SEC filings of the Apple showing that yeah, they are having this measure. and so on. So the next tab is about the events. So you see here, so you can here select for what time period you are interested in the detail of the events of the company. Here you can specify what type of events you're interested in. For example, you can say that, okay, I want to see, for example, the corporate, so earning calls. There are many types of the calls, but so for example, conference calls. Okay, now here. This is earnings conference calls, for example. So you can search here, and then you can see that, okay, this was the Q2 of 2020 earning call, and you can here listen to that, or you can download the file, or you can see the transcript. So here there are the CEO or the management team of the company, and here are all the analysts of the company. Here, so this is the presentation, and here you can see the details Q&A of the question and answers of the analyst and the CEO. Okay, so if you want to have a very detailed information about the future of the company, earning calls are one of the best sources. Okay. The other type of events is the company deals. So if a company had any M&A activity or other kind of deal, so you can here say that, for example, yeah, okay, I want to see the M&A activity of Apple in the last 2 years. And here you can see what did Apple do here. So for example, here you can see that so the acquirer were Apple for all of them, and so it was the target. So, and you can see more details here, but I want to show you a better way. So if you want to search for the universe of the deals, so what you can do is to go for M&A search, for mergers and acquisition, advanced search, and it's an application. So from time to time, if you search here, for example, if you search for Apple, here there is the equity. So if you open this, you will open the equity side of this Apple. So the company description and everything relevant for this equity. But if you are opening an app like this application, so here there will be an app showing here. So here you will have the list of all the deals. That probably you also need this for the recent transactions for your valuation exercise. Okay. So here you can filter for the important things that you want to focus on. For example, if you want to have a target industry, so you can have the software, somehow computers, and telecommunication. So okay, so there are all the deals relevant for this. You can also filter for application. So you can say that, okay, deals should be bigger than something. The deal status should be completed, and I want all the mergers or the acquisition of assets or whatever. And I think you could also filter for the location of the company. So you could say, for example, all the Europeans or for example, the Korean nation is in the US, for example, and so on. And here you can see also the information. So these are sources: target name, the target nation, acquirer name, and target industry, and so on. For example, if you want to see the premium, so you can have the premium to 1 week ahead or 1 week prior to the announcement. So, for example, this information is missing. So, for example, if you want to have this price per share and so on. So the EBITDA multiple and so on. So the things that you need for your valuation attempt. Then one of these filters in a way that all of these data are missing. Anyway, so you get the idea. Good. Okay, we go back to Apple. Okay, so we had the events already. Yeah, we can go to the ownership. Here you can see the top investors of the company, and if they have any turnover. And so the recent activities, so the recent buyers are here and the recent sellers are here. And nothing more specific here. Okay. Let's go to the debt structure. Here we can see all the bonds already or to be issued, and all the loans as well for Apple. And you can just sort them by the maturity. For example, if you are interested in the bonds that are maturing in 1 year, you can see them here. So you can click on each of them and you go into the bond page and you can see more details about these bonds. But before that, I just want to show you how you can do this in general. For you can have here DS comp as debt structure comparable. So you can also compare it to the other peers. So here, for example, so we can add. So just set up Okay, here you can say which companies also you want to compare. So there's some suggestion here. You can also add them here. I will show you later. But you can, for example, compare it with IBM. So here all the maturities of, for example, 2020. So you can compare all of them. So how many issued, how much are outstanding, and so on. Okay, just okay. For example, if you want to do a valuation for a company that doesn't have liquid bonds, and you want to find some similar bonds from the universe of the bonds, so that are liquid, and then you can work with those bonds instead. So you need to open the screener of the bond screener. So for this, you need to CBPX, so corporate bonds prices. So you can see all the price developments of the corporate bonds. And here again, you can filter for the sector, for the rating. So for example, yeah, you can have telephone sector, for example, and for the US, for G20, for the US dollar. So for example, if you want to have a specific coupon in mind, or you have a maturity, and then here you update, and then you can see all the bonds with this criteria here. And for any bond, you can open the bonds page. Let's do it for one of the apples. So let's go back to Apple. So for example, I want to see a 10-year bond of Apple here. So here all the information that you want to have from this bond. And so the most important thing here is the bond calculator. And here you can see all the yield analysis for this bond. So for example, this is the information of the bond. So this is I think the kind of ticker for the bond, or bond ID. Okay. So here you can see, for example, so the yield analysis, and you can see, for example, what is the yield to maturity for this bond, and so on. So based on how you can compute this, let's bring some, for example, Adidas bond. So to just show you how it works for German, for example. So a bond of 2026. So
I have a question.
Sure.
Is there a way to get a weighted average of all the outstanding bonds of the yield to maturity?
I couldn't find this, but you can download all this debt, so all the bonds available, and then you can calculate yourself.
Oh, okay. Because I read that we can use this as a proxy for the cost of debt.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
But you can do it also easier here. For example, so if you have, for example, a long-term bond that is also liquid, like here, so what you can do is look in the spreads, you can see that, okay, so you can compare it to the most similar bond of the German government. so if you select the nearest here, so you can see that these two bonds are the most similar bonds. The government bond, German bond, that is expiring in 2026. So you can open this, for example, to see the exact details of this bond, and then you can compare this Adidas bond to the government bond. Yeah, this is the bond information, the latest price and information, and I can also see the yields of the bonds and everything. Okay, and you see here, so comparing to the, so for the German government bonds, maturity in 2026, the yield is negative this amount, and the spread of this bond over this yield is this amount. So you can get some kind of sense about the cost of debt of this company by looking at this. Okay. Next part is the peers. So Reuters suggests some kind of company peers itself, but you can also add or remove them if you want. So for example, I don't like Motorola. Or for example, if you want to anyway add, for example, add back to Google, so just add it here, and you can also add columns here. But if you look at these templates here, so there are lots of templates available already. So one of the templates is the valuation, and it provides you with nearly all the information you need for your peers valuations. So for example, the EV/EBITDA of the next year, 2 next years, EV to revenue, like basically all the valuation metrics that you need for the comparables. But still, if you want to add something here, you can add, for example, price. You can add the price clause here. You can also open this library here. So
I have a question.
yes.
When we are trying to estimate the equity value, is it better to use the adjusted close as our value for the stock, or shall we just use the close price?
For what exactly?
When you are trying to estimate the market value of equity,
Yeah.
you usually multiply the stock price with the outstanding shares. So
Yeah.
shall we use the adjusted close or the normal close?
I mean, at the end, I don't see if I haven't checked this. What would be the difference? But I think the market close would make more sense.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think at the end you need to play around to get amount of equity that kind of explain the current market price.
Okay.
So you need to play around a bit. For example, okay. So there was a question about the Excel. So just previous to this question, there was a question about how about Excel. In the Excel, you will have also a button to launch the data library. So here you see the data library, and then you can see, for example, if you want to have beta, you will see all the kind of available betas here. So for example, 3 years beta, 5-year beta, and so on.
And which beta is the best to use? Sorry.
There is a discussion on that. There are several options you can have, but it depends at the end. So I would take weekly last 2 years without.
Okay, thank you.
There is a trade-off between, for example, if you can get the daily prices, or you can have weekly prices, but for the daily, some people argue that, for example, if you take the daily prices, we don't address the liquidity issue. That's why many people use, for example, weekly.
Okay, and the equity risk premium, can we get it already done in Modern, or do we?
I will show you also here.
Okay, thank you.
There is a very good here.
Thank
you. Yeah. So this is basically what I wanted to tell you about the peers. And then, so this is very important. So you get all the peers information, and then you download them here, and then you'll have this information for your own exercise. Okay. And then, so the derivative doesn't have anything important for this case, so I'll skip it. But here you can also find the filings of the company. You can also find the filings of the company into their own website. But here also you can see, for example, first quarter earnings. So you can just open them. For example, yeah, let's go on. For example, the annual report. So this 15A, I think, was the shareholder meeting. Yeah, policy statement. There is also for the US companies, the annual report is 10K. And also look at the 10K. So this is the most important filing. And 10Q is the quarterly version of this 10K. It will take a bit to download, but yeah. And at the end, there's like this 360 menu that has all the important links that we just covered here. Okay, so yeah, so if you have any, if you want to search for quick links, you can just start from here. Let's say this is the company page. So we nearly cover everything related to a company. But there's also some apps that are useful for you. So one of these apps is the equity risk premium. So they said the StarMine equity risk premium, the question was just there. And so here you can also see how you can calculate the equity risk premium for each company, for each country. So here, for example, you can have France. So the way they calculate this risk premium is based on the Gordon model, and here I can show you how the formula. Yeah, here is the formula. So this is kind of the current dividend yields plus the long-term growth rate of the dividends minus the risk-free rate. So you can change this stuff here in order to calculate a new risk premium if you think that these numbers are not correct. And then you can also take this as equity risk premium for your valuation. The other application that is nice to have is the industry app. So the home, so here there is the industries here, so you can have all the information of a specific industry. Just so you can have the software industry in the US, and then you can have everything here. So you can have the list of all of their events, there are the filings, all the earnings, and all these tabs are very similar to what we had before. So I just don't want to start going to all of them. But here is also important if you want to have the overview over the whole industry. Very similar. So in the beginning, there is the search bar, and here also you need to write the name of the company, and then into the securities you need to find the company, and this is the company that we are interested in. And here you can see a list of functions that are available here. So they are the most important comments. So we can start from here with a company overview. So here in Bloomberg, you have this link here. So this shows you that you are into the Apple web page. So from now on, whatever you type would be counted as a function for this. So for example, if you say that, for example, about the descriptions, so it will go to the description website. Okay. So this is very similar again. This is the whole overview of the company. And here you can also have a very deep look at to the supply chain of the company by saying supply chain analysis. For example, you can see for Apple there are 187 suppliers, and there are big customers here, and so on. We can also look at the ownership of the securities. So exactly very similar to what we had in Eikon. So here is a bit more function specific. So it's better to remember all these important shortcuts. And what is important here is the depth analysis. So you can have also this bond calculator also here. So for Apple, you can see the depth distribution. So there's all the depths with the several maturity dates. And by the way, if you want to export this data out, you can always you can use this export, and then you export to Excel, and or you can also export to PDF. Yeah, okay, very important. So here, for example, you can see the bonds that are maturing at 2025. They are the list of bonds. So they are these are callables and normal bonds. So we can open this file, this bond here. So if you open this bond, then here you will see that you're in the page of this security. And then you can apply the functions that are relevant for this. And the most important function is the yield analysis. And then you can again see everything that we had before. So you can see the spread over the 5-year government bond. So you can change also this bond here. Yeah, everything else are similar. So you have the spread over the government bond. You have the Z spread here, and so on. So the next important thing. Okay, if we go back to Apple. Second parts are the company analysis and the financial analysis. So here you can see the adjustment highlights, income statement here in the second tab, and balance sheet, cash flow, and so on. So there are all other information very similar to there. And here, I don't know if you can also click and see where did it come from. So yeah, it is that much straightforward. Yeah, anyway. So you can also export them to a PDF or Excel. And yeah, nothing specific here. You can also access the corporate file and company filings. The company filings. So you can see all the transcript filings or research. I think we don't have any research. The Berkeley research. Yeah. But I think for the university and on average, we don't have very good coverage of the company research. Yeah, this is the Berkeley research. And from time to time, you need them for your case studies. Okay. Next part is so the equity relative valuation. So here you can see a list of the metrics, and you can also change the group. So the group is already IBM, Samsung, and HTC. I think here you can change the list of the companies. So you can add a security and then come back. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We have also a VEC function that gives you the weighted average cost of capital. Here you can change the computations. So for the cost of equity, you can see that there is it assigns a risk-free rate itself. You can also change all of them. This is also the market capitalization. For the cost of debt, the same. But I don't know where does this come from.
Which risk-free are they using?
What?
Which risk-free are they using?
This is the risk-free rate, but this is U.S. government 10-year bond. You can see this white.
Thank
logo.
you.
Yeah. Also, this cost of debt. So effective tax rate. What it is? Short-term debt. Using the rate, the note rate, and bond rates. I really don't know where these numbers come from. I just know that you can change them. So here, yeah, let's say calculate with the new rate. And then you can see the back as the weights of each of them, and then the final back. But for sure, you cannot use so even if you have access to Bloomberg for your own exercise, you cannot use these numbers directly. So you need to discuss why you use this and what was the numbers that you were using. Yeah, you can also have the beta of the company. Here you can say that, okay, so I want this security relative to S&P index. So if you can have like daily prices, so this is the time period. And here are all the betas. So this is the raw beta. If you just look at this line coefficient, this is the adjusted beta that you shift the beta toward 1. So if you it is always closer to 1 for the adjusted beta because people believe that beta is a mean reverting issue. And if you look at the long-term horizon, it should be adjusted toward 1. And the other things. Yeah. And also the earning, so the estimates. So the Bloomberg earning estimates is not as complete as the Eikon because for Eikon we have the IBS dataset, and for Bloomberg they have it themselves. And here is not as good as IBS for what I have already. So based on my experience. Here in so the EEB, bring you to this page. There you can select the measure. For example, you have revenue here, and you can see which analysts for which quarter provided what. You can change the period to, for example, next 2 years, and you can have the annual. Okay. So here you can see again the name of the analyst and the number. The only good thing here is that there is no anonymous here as far as I see. Usually everyone is disclosed, so the name of the analysts are all disclosed here. And finally, on the brokerage recommendation. So here you can see how many buy, hold, and sells are there, and the target prices for all of these analysts. I think we can also look at this research. No. Yeah, the university doesn't have the license for this. Okay, so this is basically all the things about the Bloomberg's company data. What I want to cover now is a bunch of Excel templates that Bloomberg has. This is something that I didn't see a similar thing in the Icon, for example. So if you want to see the Excel template library. So what is important for you, for example, is this investment bankers Excels, ready Excels. You can also search here for what you want. For example, DCF analysis. So there's two things that you can do DCF with them. I won't open this because this PC cannot handle that. But for example, the discounted cash flow I already have here. So if you just put the ticker name here and press enter, you will see all the information about this the company. This is about IPM as a default. So you can see the revenues projected, EBITDA projected, and free cash flow projected. You can have the sensitivity analysis based on the assumptions. So you can also change the assumptions here. So you can say that, okay, I want this back with this amount, this perpetuity growth rate, or if you want to do with the exit enterprise value over EBITDA, you can specify it here. And then here you can see the details, historical and projections of the cash flow. So for each of these items, their numbers are already there. And yeah. And then based on, for example, if you have a perpetuity growth model, you have, based on this, you have the enterprise value, and then you adjust for the debt, and then you get the equity value, and you will get the estimated value per share. The only thing is that you cannot use that. So even if you had access to Bloomberg, if you use this toolbox, you cannot get any grade for your first cases. So it's kind of prohibited to use this tool for your own exercise. But for your own information, you can use it in the future. So there's also this Excel, this three statements model that you can do the financial modeling with that. And it has all the statements and the projections, very professionally available and very straightforward to use. Okay.
Can you provide us such a template, or shall we create our own?
You should create your own.
Okay.
Yeah, but our book has a template that I will show you. So you can start from there.
Okay, can you upload that on OLAT, or?
I will show you in a
Okay.
moment. Okay. Okay, so this is everything that I wanted to tell you about Bloomberg. Okay, so for Nexis, you need to go to let me show you. So you can go to the database of the university bibliothèque, and here you can search for the Nexis. And the important thing is Nexis Uni. And I just tell you again that we need the university VPN in order to access, otherwise we will not go to this website. Here, there is so what you can access here is basically all the newspapers and news articles relevant for a company, for security, and so on. So for example, you can here search for Apple, And then you can see that, okay, so you'll get a list of suggestion. So this is the company we are interested in. And you can do the search here. And this search here is powered by Google. So basically all the techniques that you have in Google search, you can also apply here. So for example, here, we can say that this is a company. And we want our search result to be relevant for at least 90%. So I think I did something wrong. But so you can see, for example, here. So you can search for the company of Microsoft Corp, and this is the results of the news that are at least 90% relevant for this company. And this is the list you can get, and you can see the preview, for example. So here in the preview, you can see that all the companies that are into this news is Microsoft Corp with 91% relevancy and so on. Then you can open the file to see the whole there. Yeah. And so on. So this is nothing more about the Nexis